we were talking about this a little earlier. It's one of the reasons why I'm so into training uh, MMA and doing jujitsu and the mixed martial arts, because when I go there, especially on Saturdays where that's like the open mat where we actually spar, and it can be pretty close to real. It's not real. I would say it never gets past 80%, but sometimes, especially if you're not a professional fighter, 80% feels like 200%. Um, but I do it because it humbles me and it scares me. It absolutely scares me. I'm a non-confrontational person by nature, and it scares me to know that if I make a mistake, I'm going to get punched in the face. I've been punched in the face really hard, and there's also something good about getting punched in the face really hard, in the world, and the world keeps going. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
feel like people have like a feeling like if I get punched, I can't get punched. That's, oh my gosh, fighting. It's I don't condone fighting on a regular basis or at a bar or at school or anything like that. But I just think that I have a new composure that I didn't have. I'm not worried if somebody gets crazy, barring them having a weapon. I'm not worried. They're not going to mess me up. And jujitsu is the highest level of that for me. It's
Mm.
just it's all about controlled force. I'm controlling you. You're controlling me. I went yesterday again to Marcelo's, and there was guys that were smaller than me just throwing me all around because they know it's about controlled strength. It's also problem solving. You know, okay, this guy, he has his leg across my face. What can I do to move it? But then when I move it, that's just one thing. Now I got to figure out to get in a way to where I can position myself to control him, and that's why I love jujitsu. I recommend it to everybody.
So you're actively thinking the entire time. Is your brain ever off? Have you ever been pushed to the limit to where it's like fight or flight, and you're just like fighting to get out of something, and your brain is not on. You're just like scrapping for your life.
In jujitsu or
Yeah, in any of these sessions.
in MMA, getting punched in the face will make you go to that mode. Um, but generally, I snap back into it. So if I'm getting punched in the face, they're probably coming forward, and I think I need to get out of their line.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get to one side or the other. With jujitsu, no, I'm not that good to where I can just let my body move. Some people, like I was watching Joe Rogan's podcast, and he says he likes to smoke before he rolls because it helps him to have that disconnect
Mm-hmm.
and let his body kind of. But also, Joe Rogan's been training for years and years and years.
It's like
So
dancing in a way.
right, it's a lot like dancing. It's a lot like salsa dancing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still going 1 2 3 1 2 3
Yeah.
1 2 3,
Yeah,
it's never gonna flow. But there's certain there. That's not true. There are certain things that if someone does, I know what I need to do, and I don't even have to think about it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's generally a response to something that happened to me in class. Like I went to, I got armbarred by this female once, like
Mm-hmm.
2 times in the session, and I just said, I'm not. That's never happening to me again. And so now, if someone tries to armbar me, I don't even have to think about it. I just move in the way.
You know what it feels like when somebody's going to try to do an armbar now.
Right.
So like as soon as it starts coming, you're like, nope.
Yeah, exactly. And I start moving my body.
Yeah,
In a
yeah.
way. That's kind of what the strength of it is. I think is experiencing more, so you're not affected by it. You know, I don't get nervous. I mean, I was very nervous actually to go to this gym in New York because I've never gone to a gym outside of my friend's gym,
That's right. Yeah.
and there's something to be said about the way people roll with you when they know you.
How scared were you that first session?
I was terrified, but it was for 2 reasons. One reason was it was Marcelo's and it was a new gym, and the second reason was it was like my third gi class. And if you're going to be legitimate in the sport, you have to take gi classes,
Mm-hmm.
which is like if you ever seen like a karate uniform or judo or anything like that. But so I got there, and man, everyone just looks so good, and it's I've seen the videos online, but fortunately for me, on my first time, Rob, you remember Rob? You know Rob?
Yeah.
He came.
Oh, awesome.
Right. That was huge because we drilled together. They normally warm up, then you do drills. They teach you like a move or something, and then you practice it, and then they open it up for drilling. So Rob was there, and that really helped out. Yesterday I was there by myself, and I also took the advanced class.
Oh man.
And but no, it was I was nervous at first, but then I really got into it. And everyone was cool. Everyone was nice. I mean, I got dominated all day, but I didn't feel like I was out of place. I just felt like everyone was better than me.
That reminds me of this yoga class I took once. I don't do yoga very often. Like I've been to I think 2, maybe 3 classes. It's good. It's very hard. I did it by myself with that P90X workout when I did that once upon a time. And it was if you know P90X, there's like 7 videos, or there's a ton of DVDs and a bunch of different workouts, and you do a different workout every day, and then you switch it up every 3 or 4 weeks, something like that. And so one of the videos, like the middle of the week, is yoga. It was a 90-minute video. I think the first time I did it, I got through maybe 5 minutes. And like the second time, maybe 6 minutes. You know, it was the hardest one. I couldn't believe it. I looked at it and was kind of like, yoga, finally I get an easy thing. And it was the hardest one. So anyway, I went to a class here in New York with my girlfriend. And it was it said open for everybody. It was an open class. It was really cheap. It was like $5 to come in.
I remember that.
And we went in there, and we set up. There wasn't that many people. We're in the middle, and they're about to get started. More people rolled up behind and set up behind us, and then they get started. And it is very advanced. And the instructor's like, just if there's anything that's above your level, don't be afraid to just go into child's pose. And within like 5-10 minutes, people are doing headstands, and we're like, what? She's naming moves which we don't know, so we're having to like look, and we need instruction on how to do any of this. And then throughout the session, she just walked by us and would be like, and it's okay if you need to go into child's pose. She wouldn't say it, but she was like, she would brush us and like, don't worry, if you need to go into child's pose, go ahead. And so we spent like 60%, 80% of this class like just in child's pose because we couldn't do anything. It was ridiculous.
That's what I was worried about for the advanced class.
I mean, even the Fundamentals 2 class, I was worried about that because I just don't know. I mean, this guy, Marcelo, is like literally one of the best in the world. And so I don't know what's going to be there. I mean, they might... And the first drill they did, so we do like a rolling drill where you kind of put your arm down and you roll over your shoulder. But at Marcelo's, they put a person in front of you and you jump over them and then you roll. That was the first thing we had to do. So I'm like, oh no, I'm way over my head. First one I do, I look like an idiot. Then the second one, it was fine. And then I got used to it and it was no big deal. But I was really worried about that happening. Yeah. Them calling out stuff that I don't know. I brushed up on my terminology. But then, like I said, after these 2 weeks, I feel like there's plenty for me to learn, but I do have a solid base. And so what I just need to do now is just consistently build my base. So anyway, I think that's all we have time for today because it feels like it's been a million years. But it's been great talking to you, man. I'm glad that we can get you back on. Very random, right?
Yeah.
But that's what Brian's random thoughts are. Thank you, guys. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and like button. And next week, it'll probably be me by myself unless we get Carlos back. I don't know. He's blowing up and glowing up. Until next week, thanks.
See ya.